GTV breakfast. My name is Kafui Day. Ojeko. Over to you.
I go Mambike Swalloy. When we phone, where Manchester, Niji Niga, Kentucky Teko Churu. Ni where be and Wabaka at the side. We have recounted the history of the Ga people. Today, on my side, we'll talk about how Gas have contributed significantly to Ghana's development, even from pre-colonial Ghana. Welcome to GTV Breakfast. Wow.
Well, welcome to day 2 of us spending time here at the Gamanche Palace. I must say it is very, very serene. I'm enjoying the atmosphere. I don't know about you, Lord, but listen, really it's pretty chill. Yes, and then I've been looking forward to walking inside the Gamanche's Palace. We'll be taking a historical journey through culture, looking at tradition, music, and if you've been around here, there are some amazing drawings on the walls, and so a historian will be taking us through what these pictures and drawings on the walls mean, telling the Ga story, the Ga way. Welcome, my name is Valerie Danso.
Indeed. So stick around with us. Promises to be very exciting. Yeruadon. All right, stick around, don't go anywhere. hope you enjoyed the throbbing rhythms of beautiful music from the Gamanches Palace this morning on GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui Day. It's time for the headlines, and I have a stellar cast here to look into the issues. Ambassador Ni Ayikwe Utu is a former Attorney General and former High Commissioner to Canada. And in the middle is Niboy Abe. He's the head of the family of the Princess Amelinkpa Taki family. And closest to me is Mr. John Kukujani, who is a specialist in forensic psychiatry. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to the palace. It's good to have you all here.
Thank you.
And we're really, really happy to have you. We're going to start with talking about drugs, really, because there was a big story yesterday where Ghanaian customs officials seized approximately 20 million cedis worth of opioid drugs at the Tema port. This shipment was destined for Niger. And in response to the growing opioid crisis, Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando has pledged to prevent Ghana from becoming a hub for drug trafficking. Additionally, recent investigations have highlighted the involvement of powerful entities in facilitating the influx of opioids into the country, and it's raising concerns about regulatory oversight. We've had efforts to do public education campaigns and stricter regulations on drug importation. But however, experts are emphasizing the need to tackle underlying socioeconomic factors contributing to substance abuse. I'm going to start with Ambassador Otu. Is this not a new thing? I mean, there have been so many drug busts over the years. What are the challenges really in preventing these things from entering our country and destroying the youth?
Well, you may start from the producers. Because they keep producing these drugs and they know the harmful effects that it had on the youth, but they will not stop. Why? Because of the economic, advantages that they get. And these are normally smuggled drugs. But sometimes I have difficulty with the proliferation in the sense that why should people think of controlling pain? They talk about pain, they can't stand pain and therefore they need something to take their minds off. What should be the degree of pain for which you may need something like that? And that is when it is abused, that becomes something else. Because if you have gone through, yesterday somebody showed me a video of a gentleman who has had both hands and legs cut because he was attacked by dogs, including his own dog. 5 big dogs just attacked him to the extent that they had to cut both. Such a person will go through a lot of excruciating pains, and you need something to take his mind off, this kind of pain. I understand. But what is the big deal? Again, if it is something that becomes, addictive, then why do you start it? I mean, most of you are in the media. Most of these stars, musicians, and the rest, they die very early. And most of the time we are told sometimes they die from, overdose of some painkillers and abuse of drugs and all that. And, the fights Trump is having with Canada, Mexico, that he doesn't want fentanyl and some other drugs to come into the country. And the youth, you keep talking, they won't listen. They are so adventurous, they want to go and try it. And you may not be lucky. Some may try, they have a little, difficulty with it. They are advised, then we have a psychiatrist or something here. Others, they try it once and and you are gone. So why do you even want to try it? So it is the adventure of the youth, number one. Number two, the drug dealers making a lot of money, from whatever it is that they are doing. And so the thing, you keep talking about it won't stop. I know that when they are caught, under the narcotic laws and the rest, even their properties are confiscated. But they don't care because there's quick money, love for money. He knows that when he smuggles a few of these drugs into the system, he will make lots and lots of money. So it's a huge problem. It's a wide problem. It's not a Ghanaian problem. It's everywhere. And it's worse in the Western countries.
On the regulatory side, what can Ghana do really?
Oh, no. I mean, all the regulations are there. As I'm saying, you make illegal profits from that kind of thing, which confiscate even your properties. And yet they continue doing that. So it is the quick money. You know, they even recruit young girls into the business, promise them all sorts of things, give them, you know, carry them on the body, take this. Now with the X-ray machines everywhere, I think that thing has come down.
But should Ghana go hardcore like the former president of Philippines, Duterte? He was really hardcore on drugs.
Well, he was killing people, but now they say he should go to the ICC for some of those things. So, I mean, it's like armed robbery, you know. Nigeria was shooting armed robbers, they didn't stop. Ghana introduced, we were killing armed robbers, they didn't stop. So it's seriously, it's a human problem. It's education, we keep education people. And you know, the worst part is that it is the well-to-do people in society whose children rather fall victim to these things because they come easy by the money. And they can go and steal their parents' monies, go and buy drugs and use them. I keep telling people, I don't like shaving my hair, although it's going by itself, and otherwise people like to shave. They don't want to see this why, as we used to call it at the university. But because it was something I saw from my student days, that most of them who smoke wear dark goggles to hide the redness of their eyes and shave off because they say that your head becomes so hot. I'm telling you. So I said, so if I shave my head and put on dark goggles, am I not showing evidence of doing those things? So I don't want to shave my head.
That's all.
I won't shave it. I don't even want to wear goggles.
Finish.
You know, things like that. So it's quite a problem. Many of these, the last time we went a voluntary organization, we visited the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. And there was a part there secluded for rich people's children and the rest, you know.
VIP kind of work.
Yeah, when we got there, I was surprised that you have all these people and they are being catered well because their parents want to make sure that they come out of this thing. You know, and you know of these rehabilitation centers, try to take people to go. It's education, telling them of the dangers that they should not get involved and punishing these people, continue to punish them hard, make it unrewarding.
So punishment and education.
Yeah.
On the education note, I'll come to Mr. Nino and Abe. Is the education going down? Are the youth getting to know of the dangers of opioid drugs and other kind of drugs? From a PRFU perspective, do you think we are doing enough?
I doubt. Yes, because currently, if you should listen wide, you realize that I hear there's even a new substance on the market known as red. And then you see these young people trying to jump at it. Most of them will do this thing just for the sheer purpose of also, you know, peer pressure. He sees his friends doing it. And currently, I beg to differ a bit from what Honorable is saying in respect of being rich men's children. Now you go to the slums, you know, you go to the areas in Bukum and the rest, and these things are, you know, being done. This red, you see somebody standing in the middle of the street in a position as if he's a statue. And
He's gone.
He's gone. He doesn't even know what time of the day it is. And we must also commend our custom officers at the ports. They are doing a good job. Some of these gallant officers, obviously, whoever imported them would maybe through the agents try to compromise them to let this thing go. But maybe they stood their grounds and ensured that this drug haul is busted for purposes of stopping its further flow. The truth of the matter is the destination is supposed to be Niger. But who knows whether this thing gets to its final destinations? maybe it's destined for Accra, but the impression will be given as if it's, so it is also a decoy that is mostly used just to outwit the authorities, to suggest that this is not meant for Ghana, is on its way out.
So it could probably it was meant for here.
Meant for here, who knows? And these are banned substances that its spread or distribution anyway should not be encouraged. Therefore, I think education, like you say, should go deep down, should start from, homes to, social subjects in the schools. And a lot of our youth are now trying these substances. And these are not good for the human body, okay? They are only prescribed by doctors or whatever in very extreme circumstances, okay? So you cannot go and then try and get them off shelf or whatever. At times they are even in restricted parts of the pharmacy, okay?
So more regulation, more education.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is the only way out.
Mr. Johnny, you are a forensic specialist in psychiatry. Why do you have people rooted to the one spot, almost like statues, after having ingested copious amounts of opioid? What is happening to the body when people take opioids?
Well, let me just start by saying good morning to everybody, and good morning to Mr. Guzitano, the presidential advisor to the president on the 24-hour economy. In the 60s, smoking marijuana was very fashionable. It was part of the culture of dancing and going out, and young men just making love, free love and sex. It was very normal at that time. Time of Jimi Hendrix, the Rolling Stones, that was the culture at that time. Then it started elevating itself. It was more like a recreational drug for fun. But you raise the bar by saying, look, we want to try this one too and see. Right? And young men at that age are very inquisitive. And opioids or cocaine are very addictive.
Is cocaine an opioid?
Cocaine is another derivative of what they call, yes. And you find that cocaine comes from coca leaves from South America. This one is, I think, from the Afghanistan area and all. So it's the addiction that becomes a problem. And when you're addicted to it, it's very difficult to wean you off.
Is it possible to get addicted with just one hit?
Yes, I think cocaine and this tramadol are so addictive that depending on the biology of the person, you have to be like, it's like alcohol. You have people, this is also, you can equate it to alcohol. Alcohol, I think, destroys a lot of people even more than the cocaine, because government encourages people even to drink. The VAT on alcohol is not as much as what you see on these illegal drugs. So we need to, as it were, talk like we talk about on television. The young men are watching. Life has changed a little bit. They are not as bad as I thought they would be with the issue of the drug culture, because this started many years ago. And so we used to smoke a lot when we were in school. We are not smoking anymore. My children don't smoke. I don't see children smoking or indulging in alcohol like we used to.
Probably hiding.
Oh, if my child is drinking, I'll get to know. The very moment I look at his face, I know it's but I know from my own, forensic eye that children are not as alcohol-driven like we were before. Now you have the tramadol thing that I see is happening in ghettos more than the affluent society. And I once took a taxi and I was talking to the taxi driver and I was saying, hey, yes, I've heard of this tramadol. What there? He said, hey, Charlie, no more. I will drive a while. Hey, I can drive all night. Oh, is that right? Of course, it elevates the mood. And it gives you this false sense of I'm all right for a very long time. But it can even depress you to a certain area. So
why are the guys so slow? It's almost like they are living in slow motion. these people
Well,
who are...
so
what's happening?
It will be the side effect. He's not getting enough of it. He's not getting the amount that he needs to have in the body to keep activating him. So when there's no money and there's no drug, then he falls into a low mood. So it's the mood fluctuates.
So it becomes very
slow and dull and comatose. And, the figure looks like a statue. I think somebody used the word. So these are the side effects of it. You see the skin to start pigmentation of being very black. The face become masked. The expression of the face is very masked. It's not laughing, or you see something that is very strange about the body. Yes. So these are very bad things. Parents too have a responsibility to have an eye. When you are working in your house with the children or your grandchildren around, you have to have a forensic eye, I call it. You are working around, even if you're at work, you must be able to know what is happening in your house. So when your child goes offbeat a little bit, you know that, Charlie, you see a friend, a very weird character comes down with dreadlocks, some combo talking like somebody who is a bit disheveled. That should be a red flag for you. You want to find out who this guy is. And you have to be very, very careful in their friendship. They listen more to their friends more than you. So if you don't manage that well, and that guy is able to shift your boy to his corner, then you have a problem, a huge problem. So
Is it easy to get people off the addiction? I mean, medically?
Sometimes you need specialist units and specialist persons or personnel like nurses and doctors to wean him off the drug. So you can start slow dosages, small dosages, small, and then you wean him off. Okay. But that could be in a very confined environment. I mean, Ambassador says here that most of this high profile. I remember a time that Michael Jackson came to London, and I was in another unit. I hear, hey, Michael is in the unit there. And apparently he wasn't able to sleep properly. All I know they gave was a benzodiazepine, and he was there for 3 days and off, he was gone. A lot of them face these challenges, but they have managers who are able to manage them well. So our boys in this music business, if you don't have managers who can see the problem and try managing you, within a few years you are out of the system, or you are nearly done. So this is what I have to say on this. Okay, thank you very much.
On this rich people's children and the rest, these drugs are not sold within the confines of where they are. You find them in the ghettos. So it is these same people who steal money, huge monies, and go and spend it with their friends in the ghettos. They supply. So you see what's talking about the money aspect, that when they don't have the money, that begins to have difficulty. So they steal the money from their parents and send it. I agree. Some of the time, the tramadol, I don't think it's that expensive. But when you are hooked on it and you don't have the money at all, what do you do? So that's why, and then it leads to all the petty stealing all over. He wants money to go and buy drugs. And
I told you about one incident where I went to Central Police Station for some matter, and some gentleman came there in his coat and his hat, and he was very worried about his son who has been busted at the university, who was the sole supplier of this drug. He was the guy. He was the thing. I was like,
he's stealing money.
And the dad was very worried. Sometimes availability of money, when you give your children money all the time, they end up doing also.
Almost become addicted to it.
It's a huge headache for many well-to-do parents who have sacrificed to get where they are. And the children think that there is money to spend on foolishness, smoking weed and all sorts of things, stealing the money, not for anything good, but to go and use it on
Sometimes it also clouds mental health problems that are hidden, that is supposed to come out. And when you take these drugs, it tends to
mess up your
as it were, take you off beat a little bit. So, and when a child in a house or an affluent parent sees his son in this state, it almost destroys the whole family. It destroys the whole family because they cannot understand that God has been privileged enough to give them all wealth and all resources, and then a child within the house is now totally upside down. is so destructive. We'll pray for them to.
Mr. Abe, you want to make a few comments on that before we go?
Basically, I think I agree with my co-panelist. He's a specialist in that area. Enough education will still have to go down there to the youth because, like he says, depending on the biology of the person, one attempt might even throw you out of work, and then you are gone. Somebody might be doing it for years, and he might decide, oh, let me also give it a shot, and then that would have been, your end. So it is imperative that right from the household through the schools, a lot more must be done.
A lot more must be done.
Yeah.
Just to wrap up this, let me just give you some dates of some major drug busts in Ghana. I mean, the authorities are doing well trying to grab them, but it's a very complex issue. So in the 90s, in 98, the authorities seized a significant quantity of cocaine at Kotoka International Airport from a Nigerian drug trafficker. In the 2000s, quite a lot happened. In 2002, 588 kilos of cocaine intercepted at Tema Port. 2005, the infamous MV Benjamin cocaine case, which involved the smuggling of 77 parcels, which is 2.3 metric tons of cocaine. Some parcels were never recovered. 2007, there was the Tagore and Abbas cocaine trial, which led to the conviction of key drug barons involved in the MV Benjamin case. And then in 2008, if you remember, there was a Venezuelan and 2 Ghanaians who were arrested in connection with 15 kilos of cocaine seized at Kotoka. In 2013, Nayeli Ametepe, a Ghanaian British citizen, arrested at Heathrow with 12.5 kilos of cocaine. In 2016, 500 kilos of cannabis, also known as ganja or weed, seized in the Volta region en route to Nigeria. 2019, NACOP intercepted 152 kilos of coke at Tema Port. 2021, 100 kilos of coke seized at Tema Port again. 2022, GRA and NACOP seized 1.4 billion cedis worth of tramadol and other opioids at Tema. 2023, Ghana police arrested a syndicate smuggling 1,200 kilos of cannabis in the eastern region. And then 2024, customs intercepted 15 million cedis worth of opioids concealed in a medical supplies container. And then recently, which is just yesterday, an opioid bust at Tema Port saw customs officials seizing 20 million cedis worth of illicit drugs headed for Niger. So we've got issues with drugs. We're trying to enforce, we're arresting, but people are also still getting addicted, and it's just a complex situation which requires a lot of attention. You're watching GTV Breakfast. My guests, Ambassador Ni Ayikweotu, Mr. Niboy Abe, and Mr. John Kukujani, right here in the Gamanches Palace. There's another story that I want us to deal with. This has to do with Galamsey. And to be precise, the Ghana government launching the Blue Water Guards Initiative. It is aimed at combating illegal mining activities, also known as Galamsey, to protect the water bodies of the country. So in the first phase of this project, 400 young men and women are undergoing training by the Ghana Navy Riverine Command at the Forward Operating Base in Ezilebo, Western Region. It's part of the broader Reset Ghana agenda, which plans to train a total of 2,000 personnel this year. So these people will be monitoring river health, will identify Galamsey operations, they'll collaborate with local communities and traditional authorities to combat water pollution. Ambassador Ayikweotu, I'm interested in the collaboration with traditional water authorities to deal with Galamsey, because Galamsey is going on in spite of traditional authorities possibly being aware of what's going on. Your thoughts?
Well, you see, most of these things happen within traditional areas. You know, the Asanteni has been doing very well in that area.
Yeah.
That if you look on and you allow people to come and engage in the Galamsey in your traditional area, and I get you, I'm going to depose you.
Yep.
So he has been distooling, some of the chiefs who are involved. And there's that school of thought that why don't we empower the traditional authorities within the areas where these things happen, to use their SAFO companies and the rest, to ensure that people are stopped in their tracks. The political will is what appears to be missing. Like we just spoke about drugs and the benefits, the economic benefits that accrue from it. And Galamsey is also about gold and others and money. So when people get involved and make money to the extent that they can go and influence political decisions. Will they stop? So, and then you ask the major parties, what are your plans in fighting Galamsey? And you don't see anything really coming out. I do recall 2020 thereabouts, whilst ND's MPP saying we will arrest all of them. NDC say, oh, don't mind them. When we come, we'll even release you. But now, I monitored 2024. I didn't see any real, program on the part of both, One is saying, well, we went and arrested them. We lost. We lost in all those areas. So why should we go there again? They have taught us a lesson.
Because we don't want to lose.
We don't want to lose. Another one comes and says, well, people need to work. Mama, for example, our president was saying that people need to work. So we must try and balance, what is happening with, the need for people to find jobs to do and all that. So honestly, I am a little bit worried whether indeed we intend to fight this thing, or whether because of the economic advantages we are deriving, to the extent, if you remember 2020, that the Galamsey people decided that they were going to give pickups to the government to the opposition, because it has said that when it comes, it's going to help them to do it more. I think recently there has been a release yesterday or so from their end saying that there is the processing of licenses has slowed down, and that was not a promise that was given to them. So they want more licenses to be processed quickly and the rest. So it's a huge border. It's a huge border. What are they going to do which is different from what the military has been doing? This group that they are talking,
the blue
telling us, what are they?
Yeah.
Military men have been trained over the years and they are deployed to go and fight. They are unable to do it. Now you give some people some sort of training and you tell them to go and do what? To stop it?
You're not too confident that to work.
Oh, what is happening to the military? Those who have been properly trained with a commander, go and execute, make sure that the people are no longer.
So you think the military should be empowered more?
Rather, but this may be if you like, paramilitary,
okay.
To assist. But to use them as the main, no, I doubt. I mean, do you need rocket science to know whether there's Galamsey going on in a particular area, looking at the surface of the water? Do you need rocket science? You can see it yourself. Where did I go? We went to Achim the other time. When we got to Nsawam, the guy who was driving me said, look, please, look down there. You see the face of the water. The color will tell you that it's already changed. So you don't need rocket science. You are seeing the color. And then, I don't know. I thought in 2017 we did well by trying to, the MPP, bringing in palm trees and directing the attention of the youth to leave this Galamsey thing.
I think they wanted quick money.
And
palm takes a long time.
Palm and tree. And I think there was an effort to even purify the water. Now we don't hear about those things. But sometimes I think about it. If you purify and they still keep on corrupting, it will be the same. So how do we really tackle this thing once and for all? Is it the military, full force of the military that we need, or this kind of paramilitary thing? I don't see how it can assist. I think we should empower the military, and if anything at all, add these people as a backup. To the military. To give them information about what is happening, so they can. I don't know whether they are going to arm them. Are they going to be armed? That's a good question.
The news doesn't say anything about that yet, but we'll have to get more
information. Because our private securities, they only carry batons. So when an armed robber is coming with AK-47, you are carrying baton. And those people, most of the time we hear when they go to do their forages there, that they seize even guns. So if they are not holding any guns to protect themselves, well, I honestly, I don't think, maybe as people who give information, I will support that. But still get the military rather,
involved,
to lead this fight. And it should be for a period. It cannot be forever. Yeah. You should tax them to do this thing. Yeah, within a certain period, and make sure that no new people come there. The Chinese ambassador embarrassed everybody. That look, we don't give permits, and we don't know where the goods are located. And you are complaining about Chinese coming. Who took them there? Well, your own people who took them and went and showed them the place to do whatever it is that they are doing. And then you turn around and then you complain that it's Chinese, Chinese, Chinese. But how come that nobody is able to see? Because their color is clearly different from our color. So you see a few people working there, you think they are not Ghanaians. Just even make a report to somebody. But you go and almost every time they are busted, you see a number of Chinese involved. You see a number of Chinese involved. I just don't understand that you leave your country, come to somebody's country just to come and do this kind of thing. But there are other ways of doing, mining without necessarily alluvial mining, this kind of thing, using water to wash and the rest. When I was in Canada, this thing was a problem. So we're looking at best practices. And they said they don't do this alluvial thing. They don't use water. There are other means. I remember even our MPP brought some machines which they said could be used to do the refinery without necessarily using water and all that. Maybe we have to look at those alternatives.
Indeed.
But otherwise the money keeps driving everything. It's the money.
It's a bit like the drug trade as well.
It's just like the drug.
Mr. Abe, Blue Water Guard initiative to deal with galamsey.
I agree with Honorable His Excellency Nyayiko too, because you see this man is something that is destroying our water bodies everywhere, every time, and the financial inducements is what overrides every form of reasoning. Right now, our newly appointed Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, he is giving new promises, trying to fight head-on, so this is one of the initiatives. But I think one of such had also gone on in the time of Peter Amewu, when he was a minister, of lands, trying to also get a group to go into it. But at the end of the day, it all faded out. Right now, these young men that are maybe out of school and are being trained, like he said, when you have properly equipped military who cannot even, most of them are compromised when it gets there, because at the end of the day, it's the bargaining power that takes over. Okay, so there was a time when we had footages going around in social media where a police officer, uniformed police officer, had knelt down in front of a galamsey kingpin. You understand me? It was so demoralizing to see, okay, somebody who has all the backing as a law enforcer or a law enforcement agent to basically do the right thing, now being complicit to what is ongoing. Okay, now, like he said, these Chinese, when they come, it is our own people who take them to these places. So when you see the Ghanaians in front, right somewhere in the forest, you have them with their AK-47s. How do they get them? Okay, so these young men, I also agree, should rather serve as maybe front men who will go and fish out information and then give it to the military to pounce on people who are still, because I've also seen footages with people who are saying this galamsey will never stop. It pays more than anything, and is the money. No coffee.
No coffee, no problem.
You see, so until this thing, is done in the way that will make it very, very unpopular, I think this Galamsey menace is going to stop. Not going to stop. When you look at our river bodies, now the Ghana Water Company is even finding it difficult to try and kind of work with the water that they get to enable it to be made drinkable for the population.
I think only the Volta region and Greater Accra are the last regions,
because
which are
they are all heavy with metals, cyanide, and all of that. So at the end of the day, it will maybe cost them more, but it will have also effects on the consumers at the end of the day. These things don't happen in a day.
No.
It takes a length of time before you realize the effects. You go to the doctor, and then a few things will be traced in your body, even your blood flowing system. All of this will in a way be contaminated, and we have had issues with babies coming out deformed in these areas which are predominantly infested with this mercury and stuff that.
So briefly, are you confident that this Blue Water Guard initiative thing can make an impact?
Well, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but they should be given the opportunity. Much as I believe they will not have what it takes, but if they are logistically empowered, I don't know how, but let's give them the opportunity.
Okay. Mr. Johnny, the fight against Galamsey, this is another new dimension that has been introduced.
Right.
Protecting the river bodies, collaborating with the traditional authorities, dealing with the menace.
It's a country that has been blessed with gold. All the corners of Ghana, and yet it looks like it's a curse on us. I'm saddened that somehow we are not able to, as it were, grapple this thing by the scruff of the neck. It's going to be very difficult. When it started, governments should have been able to quickly have realized the challenges that will arise from it. We've let it happen and happen and happen. People have got used to the idea that they can dig gold, they can sell their cocoa farms and make better money out of it. And that's what we have facing us stuck in the face. Well, complicated matter as it is suggested that will help. I'm for it till we can get to a certain formula that will help. There are those who do not have any job to do than to go and do Galamsey. How do we sort them out financially when you phase them out of this business? That's my problem. And I suspect that as we go on, we get more challenges because, when you look at the DRC Congo and Rwanda and the challenges going on there at the moment, it's to do with minerals.
M23 and all that
Yes.
stuff.
And at the back of it all, there could be kingpins somewhere that they are faceless, we have not seen yet. Till it looks as if the business is going to be stopped, then you can see all sorts of mayhem going on. The president of Rwanda was the darling boy of the UK not very long ago. Today he's telling Belgium to get rid of the ambassador. And the ambassador, they also say, like, we're getting rid of your ambassador. All because of these minerals that is in the Congo. So we have to be very, very careful with this gold matter and see how best we can reshape it for those who have earnings to have from it, to be able to have a way to do it, and then to save our river bodies too. Because the equivalent is that, look, if people are going to die from some form of illnesses like non-communicable diseases, like kidney diseases, high blood pressure, and all that, and Alzheimer's disease, dementia is seriously associated to aluminum in water. What are we going to do about it? The health of the nation is at risk. So we need to find a way, sit down and constantly review the strategies that we use. If this doesn't work, what do we do? If this doesn't work, and then look at templates that I used to say in South Africa. They also have gold there, and they also have challenges like this. Places like South America, they also have gold and challenges like that. What are the methodologies that can work? The scientific methodologies based on science, not some voodoo man comes and say, hey, Charlie, let's go to the village and get these people. It doesn't work.
It has to be scientific.
Let's be very scientific with what to do now.
Forensic.
The days of voodoo thing and
gone.
Those days are gone. We need to be scientific now.
Need to be scientific about the fight against galamsey. What are your thoughts? Let us know. 055-556-1034. We've looked at the opioid busts and associated issues. We've also looked at the fight against galamsey. Let's talk about education now, because the Asante OTUMFUO II has recently expressed concerns regarding Ghana's free senior high school policy. During a meeting with Education Minister Haruna Idrisu, he highlighted challenges such as food shortages and inadequate accommodation affecting students. OTUMFUO emphasized that if these issues persist, a review of the policy might be necessary to ensure its effectiveness. Additionally, the Asante suggested that parents who can afford to pay for their children's education should be allowed to do so, allowing government resources to focus on those in need. What's your thought? What are your opinions on this, Ambassador Otu?
Well, you see, I think the problem we have as a nation is that we don't look for feedback on policies. You monitor and evaluate, but we don't care about the evaluation. Why are these thoughts now being said openly? If the then government had listened to feedback and seen some of these or heard of some of these difficulties, perhaps it would have changed course somewhere along the line.
So they were not listening?
Sure. Everything looked very rosy to us, that the fee-free education was just doing that fine. We are told that other countries were even coming to learn about our tracks, yellow track, good track, whatever,
green
systems
track,
and the
gold
rest.
Track.
They were coming to learn those things from it. So we need to really, and then you see, it's not every policy which will be about politics. Some of them we must know that we are building a nation, and we need education, we need the youth, to build them well, that they can carry on from where we will leave off. So if you do politics with it, because I'm surprised at all the things I'm hearing, are you saying that all these things were part, of the problem? I thought we had sufficient food for them, buffer stock, so and so. If they had a few difficulties, a few schools may not have. But it's not like widespread. But what are we being told now? Is it that widespread that they didn't have food?
Yeah. If you talk to the people who went through the system, they'll tell the children. They'll tell you.
So if that was the case, why did we not get a feedback to have changed course or done something about it? It's huge. And
maybe feedback was being seen as opposition from the opposition.
That's why I made that point. That it's not everything that we should see in the eyes of politics. If it is true that it's not going down well, and that there is the need for some change, why not? But whilst the NDC in the run-up to the election were flip-flopping, at one stage there was so much propaganda from the MPP side that they were forced to say that no, we are going to stay the course. we are not going to change this thing. It has come and it's coming to stay. Now you see all the problems and the things they are talking about, creating the impression that it's something that they would want to maybe discard altogether and the rest. So, well, that is, we get the politicians that we vote for, isn't it?
So not every policy should be politicized.
Politicized.
That's my takeaway from you. Mr. Abe, free SHS. Let the people who can afford it pay so that government can afford.
I think it's a wise call from His Royal Majesty Asante OTUMFUO II. We need to look at it holistically. The call is in the right direction. There are a few parents who are willing to pay, because when you look at the quality of food that are served on the children, at times it's a bit disheartening. So most of the time when the children come back from school, they look a bit skinny because they are not having
they went through hell.
The right nutrients even in the food that they are being given. It was a bold initiative, like he's saying, monitoring and evaluation plays a major role to see whether we are going in the right direction. It's not simply to say it's a policy on which I stood and won election, so it had to be bulldozed through. However, splendid as it was, it gave a few people, and when I say a few, I'm talking of over 3.5 million, children who ordinarily wouldn't have been able to go through second cycle education. And when the education levels in these children are actually of a certain class, we are bound to produce better professionals in every direction to come and take over the future of our country.
Okay.
So that opportunity to make sure that children from either better households or the less privileged are all given the opportunity. Some are brilliant, but
Needy.
Because of a few cities, you see somebody, and then the inability to also go to school with other colleagues might, let them veer into something that ordinarily wouldn't have been their choice. But when you are left with no option, you take whatever comes your way. At a point in time, you could realize that when we were even looking for this 3 billion IMF facility, there was even the idea that this whole free SHS should be looked at again. But our former president Anado said no, that is a no-go area, a non-negotiable situation. So right now, if we are having challenges, obviously we can't hit our head through the brick wall. We have to look at it. If there are other ways we could get other innovative ideas as to the funding, because the present government under His Excellency John Mahama has also promised that they will still take it through, albeit with a few
tweaks.
So
the rich people should pay.
Well,
yes, if they can afford it.
I agree if they can afford it. Why not?
Yeah. Mr. Johnny, your brief thoughts on the free SHS and
right. I think, like you said, those who can pay. It's not a question of whether those who can pay should pay. You should be able to pay. So the government should take half of the cost and then half of the cost by parents. It's like asking people to go and pay your tax. Some will pay, some wouldn't pay. So if you make it like, look, somebody has to pay for boarding and we will pay for feeding. We have to look at those issues. The whole thing started with a political jive like free SHS. And most people who don't have, but they loved it. So President Nana Akufo-Addo drove through to it. I remember him going to London and Jeffrey Saka asking him, "How are you going to fund it?" There was no answer coming out. You understand? Because it's a huge budget. I think one of the biggest budgets in the whole financial sector. So there we are. We are lumbered with it. The policy itself was incoherent. We haven't seen any statistics on it. We haven't seen any data on it. What was the goals and the objectives will be well described. You have your.
Do you agree with Ambassador that feedback wasn't forthcoming, or people were not giving feedback?
No, it's not only the feedback. The policy must be so coherent that you follow it constantly. If you don't, and you get to the review point, or what we call evaluation point, you can also come back and say, look, we are getting it wrong here. Let's go back and do this. Oh, we are getting it wrong here after 1 year. So if you are able to do that, even tell the public that, look, this thing is an interesting idea, but with every big program, mistakes will happen. That's why you have policy.
Okay.
People will get to understand you. But even when you say review the project, and they say, why do you talk about review? We shouldn't review it. Why should we? Now you see where we've got it to. Now you have students. Security at the schools are even poor. Remember somebody, a young student taking a cutlass and going and chasing people around, people doing all sorts of funny things, schools that are having walls around it, students jumping out and going out and misbehaving. Feeding, problem. Accommodation, problem. And the teachers themselves cannot manage the students, because if you have a student population of say 2,000 and something is happening, you quietly go and behave as if you didn't see. The housemaster will behave as if it is, because half of the students can jump on him. So you behave as if you didn't see. All these incidents that happened, there was a case at Aburi Girls where one of the students fell down and died or something like that. My understanding was that people were behaving as if they didn't see what happened. But the moment you go and touch it, you are touching trouble. What was the sick bay like? What are their sick bays like?
So issues ahead that need to be.
A lot of issues that you have to sit there and look at. Okay. There's free HF, free just we have gone past that stage now.
Okay.
We have thinkers in the country. Let's do things that when Mr. Trump looks at the guy and says, I see my boys are changed now. We can do business with them.
No, gentlemen, I wish we could continue with the conversations.
I wouldn't say that there was no policy.
Okay.
I think that is going too far.
I say incoherent policy.
There was policy.
Incoherent.
I mean, it's the financial burden on the budget, which we all agree. You know, but
so why do you go for something that you can't pay for?
No, it's not that we cannot pay, but there's a burden. It's huge. You know, it's very, very huge. So it led to difficult balance. I will agree with him. You know, to say that those who can afford must pay would lead to discrimination.
Yes,
why don't we just say that government is going to take half, reduce it drastically, but because you will not see the benefit today, but after 10 years, you see that more and more people are educated and they understand the issues better.
Ambassador,
we didn't talk about the football.
Football. We're playing a game on Friday.
Yes,
we'll win.
We will hope that the president will invite the Black Stars to the Flagstaff House and give them morale. And also come to the stadium and watch the game.
You gotta watch it.
The confidence is so low that we need the president's intervention now.
We need him in the VIP
stand.
Yes,
Kwame Nkrumah, he walked through to the players and
talk to them.
Yes, please come. We'll see.
Let's see what happens on Friday. Thank you very much, Ambassador Nia Ikwe Otu, former Ambassador, High Commissioner to Canada and former Attorney General, Mr. Niboy Abe. Thank you so much, Mr. John Kukujani. I thank you a lot. Pleasure. We are still in the Gamanches Palace. We've got a lot more. We're looking at important Ga personalities in the next segment with Thelma and her guests. Promises to be very educative. And then we will be taking a look through the palace itself with Valerie and her team. So you stick around. This is GTV Breakfast.
Before you go, at least once again, we have to say a big thank you for His Royal Majesty Kintakita Ntekuchuru II,
indeed,
for giving us this palace.
Yes,
you know, the kind of collaboration between the traditional authorities and GTV is something that must be harnessed and then promoted,
100%. We thank His Majesty very much for the opportunity. We take a quick break. We'll be right back with GTV Breakfast.
Right.
That's what I'm the boy who money paneba.